You're watching BionicDance. Don't run on automatic, instead, please think.
One of yous out there in YouTube land accused me of only going after mouth-breathing gomers and undereducated chowderheads. Alright then, challenge accepted. Here's John Lennox, Ph.D., and he's just as dipshitical as the rest of them. Let's do this.
This question of the relationship of faith to reason is one that one comes up against all the time. And the question is often put as if faith and reason were opposed. That, to my mind, is nonsense.
Well, of course it sounds ridiculous to your mind. You're religious. If you didn't think it sounded ridiculous to your mind, well, you'd have to admit that you didn't really have much of a case when it came to things like faith. But if you actually take an unbiased look at the situation, then you might start to realize that, yeah, it actually is ridiculous. See, that's the problem when you have a discussion with somebody who has an actual stake in the matter, is that they, well, tend to look at things through biased eyes. Hey look, cat butt.
When we say we have faith in something, we trust it, we believe in it, the next logical question is, what reasons have you got? What evidence have you got for believing it? So if I say God is the creator of the universe, you are perfectly justified in saying, what reasons have you got?
Well, precisely. The problem is that nobody has ever given logical, coherent reasons to believe in a creator deity backed up by empirical, objective evidence. So why should we believe? Why should we put our faith, our trust, in the existence of God? Why should we?
Many of the new atheists regard all faith as blind faith.
No, that's not entirely true. It's just that when we talk about faith, we're generally talking about religious faith, and that faith is blind.
But that is absolute nonsense. A man's faith in his wife is not blind. I even discussed this with Richard Dawkins, and he quite rightly gave me many reasons why he has faith in his wife. That is, we immediately see that that kind of faith can have reasons. It is evidence-based faith, but it is nonetheless faith.
And you can make an argument like that all you like. The problem is that's not the same kind of faith that you're exercising when you believe in a deity. So it's really not relevant here.
In the part of the New Testament that is devoted to explaining what faith is, one of the major books, that is the book we call the Gospel by the Apostle John, he says that he has written, collected together all this evidence, and I quote, "These things are written that you might believe," that is, have faith in, that you might believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that believing you might have life in his name. In other words, John is not asking us to put blind faith in Jesus. It's the exact opposite. He said, here's the evidence I've collected as an eyewitness, and this evidence forms the basis on which you can rest your faith.
So essentially what we have here is unverifiable eyewitness testimony. And we're supposed to just believe it with no way for us to check it millennia after the fact. Yeah, that's blind faith, pal.
We need to distinguish faith from blind faith.
Yeah, I think we do. And believing something with no way to verify it, with no real solid evidence, that's blind faith.
Now here comes the major irony. The atheists claim they don't have faith. Oh yes, they do, in their science, in the rational intelligibility of the universe.
Oh no, it was exactly the opposite with science. Nobody just decided, oh, the universe is a rational place. That's something that was discovered. Science demands evidence, objective and empirical evidence. Science is something where you discover things. You look, and then when you find them, you test them, and you make sure. You get objective and empirical evidence. You make sure that there's no faith required with your conclusions, and you have other people check them to make sure. No faith required is practically a motto in science. It's completely the opposite of what you're saying. You couldn't be more wrong.
The interesting thing about the evolutionary doctrines that these new atheists base so much of their worldview on is that they are geared to survivability, not towards truth. So why would you believe anything produced by an apparatus that is thrown up by such a mindless, unguided process?
Well, first of all, who says that the truth has nothing to do with survivability? But second of all, whenever someone describes evolution as a mindless, unguided process, as if they want to just dismiss it as if it were nothing, it shows that they really have no idea what they're talking about.
The Bible claims to be revelation. Now, I believe that that is the case, but an atheist reading it doesn't have to start by believing that. They simply read it as data.
Wrong. The Bible is not data. The Bible is the claim that needs proving. We need data to verify the truth of the Bible.
But what we are certainly not saying is that that revelation is against reason. Of course, it's nonsense. It proceeds from the source of all reason, God himself.
Which is utterly circular logic. This is a revelation of the existence of God, and it's completely reasonable because it comes from God. Right. So under no circumstances do you actually have to prove the existence of God, because it proves itself because it comes from itself. Yeah, right, sure. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please, unlike Lenny here, think. Please take the time to rate this video. And hey, if you dig what I do, subscribe. And please visit my Zazzle store, where you'll find all kinds of BionicDance merchandise. I'd rather be an atheist smartass than a religious dumbass.